Hello crocheters, and welcome to week 3 of the Sydney Shawl call. In the last 2 weeks we worked on the honeycomb section and then we took on the colourwork section, and in this week 3 we will work the lace section and followed by the colourwork section. So we are still going to maintain the same ratio of increase at the beginning of your shawl, or at the beginning of your rows rather, and the decrease at the end on the edge. So we will be increasing 2 increases in the consecutive 3 rows, and then 3 increases in the 4th row following that. Okay, so the lace section is starting with row number 39. So in this row we are going to increase twice, so it's exactly the same type of increase that we worked in sections 1 and 2 in the first and second week. So we work Tunisian knit stitch and increase under the front horizontal bar, again knit stitch and an increase. And now we are going to start working the lace section, the lace pattern. So we will be working 2 Tunisian stitches together followed by a Tunisian full stitch. So we haven't done this before, so we are going to take it nice and slow. So first we start with 2 Tunisian simple stitches together. So as a Tunisian simple stitch, we worked under 1 front vertical bar. Now we are going to go under 2 consecutive bars like so, yarn over and pull up a loop. So what this does is this decreases by 1. So we had 2 stitches, and from those 2 stitches we've got 1 loop on hook. So in order to maintain the number of stitches on your hook per row, we now need to do an increase. So the way we are going to increase will be by working Tunisian full stitch, and Tunisian full stitch is worked into the spaces between stitches. So Tunisian full stitch is not worked into a actual stitch or bar, it is into the space between 2 consecutive stitches. So when we look at where we finished, so we've done the 2 Tunisian simple stitches together, and now we are going to work Tunisian full into this space here, and this will help us to maintain the number of stitches on the hook. So this, and we repeat this 2 Tunisian simple stitches and Tunisian full stitch all the way up to the last 2 stitches of the row. So let's make a few more of these together at a slow pace. So again, I'm going to go under 1 and 2 front vertical bars, yarn over, pull up a loop, followed by a Tunisian full stitch into the space between the 2 bars like so. Again, 1, 2, we are going to go under the next 2 front vertical bars, yarn over, pull up a loop, and Tunisian full stitch. And we are going to repeat this for the rest of the row up to the last 2 stitches. As you can see, we are at the last 2 stitches. We've got 1 stitch here and then the end stitch. So we are going to fill the last, because the stitch pattern repeat hasn't finished perfectly, where we would finish with the Tunisian full stitch right in front of the last stitch, the end stitch. So we are going to fill these spaces or the stitches that don't fall exactly within the stitch pattern repeat with Tunisian simple stitch. So therefore we are going to work 1 Tunisian simple stitch into this stitch and then the end stitch. And as for all the previous rows, except for the first few rows at the beginning of the pattern, we are working the standard return pass with decrease. So we yarn over, pull through 2, and we repeat yarn over, pull through 2. Now for row number 40, we are again starting with 2 increases. So we are working Tunisian knit stitch and an increase stitch, Tunisian knit stitch and an increase stitch. And we will be working again Tunisian Tunisian simple stitches 2 together and Tunisian full stitch for the whole row. So this lace section is essentially a 1 row repeat, although we are not going to be working exactly the same the sequence of the same stitch. We will be working the sequence of the same stitches, however it will not be exactly in the same position. The reason why is because as we are increasing 2 or 3 stitches, the position of the first stitches as Tunisian 2 simple 2s together and Tunisian full stitch will be offset by a little bit in some rows. So where that happens, we will need to fill the first stitch with Tunisian simple stitch, the same as we did at the end of the row number 39. So although it is essentially 1 row repeat, the stitch count will be slightly different, so at some point we will be offsetting it a little bit. So for example, if you look at the instructions for row number 40, we start with 2 increases and then we work Tunisian simple 2 together followed by Tunisian full stitch all the way up to the end, and this row will end with end stitch. So as you can see previously in row number 39, we needed to fill in the stitch pattern by working 1 Tunisian simple stitch and then the end stitch. So this is what I mean when I say it will be slightly offset, but essentially the pattern is 2 Tunisian simple stitches together and Tunisian full stitch. So I'm going to work the row number 40 together with you, and then you will be able to follow the pattern from row number 41 up to the row number 65, working this lace pattern. Row number 66 is going to be a repetition of row number 30, which was essentially Tunisian simple stitch across the whole row. Okay, so let's do row number 40 together. So we are working 2 Tunisian simple stitches together followed by a Tunisian full stitch. There is a way how to check without necessarily exactly following the pattern, because sometimes who has the time to always check the instruction for the row in the pattern. So if that inverted V-like shape from the 2 Tunisian simple stitch don't match up the row below, then you know you might error somewhere and the stitches might be offset incorrectly. So this is what I mean. So here in the row below, I had that inverted V shape here. So now as I work 2 Tunisian simple stitches together over it, it kind of sits on top of each other. So this is what we are trying to achieve. We are trying to achieve these inverted V's to sit on top of each other, and this is followed by Tunisian full stitch. So as you can see, working the stitches in this way opens up these spaces, which creates the lace effect of this section. So again, we are working 2 Tunisian simple stitches together. As you can see, the one we just created or we just made sits on the top of the one in the row below, followed by Tunisian full stitch. Okay, and this is what we are trying to achieve. This is what gives us that lace effect at the end. So again, 2 Tunisian simple stitches together, followed by Tunisian full stitch, like so. As you can see, now they're beautifully aligned between the 2 rows, and the beauty really shows when you have a few rows of the stitch pattern made, and that's what gives it that specific, almost like a rib-like effect with the lace. So we are continuing working the stitch pattern. We are now right at the end. So for this row, the stitch pattern worked out perfectly. We are working Tunisian full stitch and now the end stitch. And we are following this by standard return pass. Okay, so that's it for row number 40. As I mentioned, you will now be able to follow row numbers 41 up to 65, which you will be working in the lace stitch pattern. Then row number 66 is Tunisian simple stitch across. And then I will meet you again on row number 67 and we will work the color work section together. And welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the lace section. Now we are going to continue with the color work section. So we will work together row number 67 and then row number 71. So we will work one row of stranded color work together, that's the row 67. Then one row of simple color work, that's row number 71. The principle is the same as in the previous color work section. So this is really just repetition, but just using color B and then adding color C. So we will work for row number 67. We will work 2 increases in B. So we'll work Tunisian knit stitch and an increase, Tunisian knit stitch and an increase. Then we will work 2 Tunisian knit stitches in B. So that's 1 and 2. And after this we will join in color C. So for me that's blue yonder. I'm really curious to see which colors have you selected for your shawl. As I mentioned previously, when I add a new color, I don't make a slip knot, I only make the loop. And then I work the Tunisian knit stitch, so I place the hook from front to back between the front and back vertical bars of the next stitch. I place the loop on the hook and pull through. Okay, and then on the wrong side, I wrap the long tail of the color I just added around the short tail and around the color that I just dropped. So in this case, that would be color B for me. And then working another Tunisian knit stitch in B. So we'll repeat 2 Tunisian knit stitches in B followed by 2 Tunisian knit stitches in C all the way to the last stitch, to the end stitch. So as you can see, we worked the stitch pattern of 2 Tunisian knit stitches in B followed by 2 Tunisian knit stitches in C all the way to the very last stitch, the end stitch. We will work the end stitch in B. And now, as in previous color work section, we need to change the color if the second stitch or second loop from the hook is in the alternate color. So in this case, the second loop is in C, so we need to drop B, pick up C, yarn over, pull through 2 to make a decrease. The second loop from the hook is still in C, so we do yarn over, pull through 2 again. And now we need to change back to B because the second stitch from the end is in B. So we drop C. Don't forget to cross over your colors, not to leave gaps in the color work section. So we pick up B, I will do yarn over pull through 2, yarn over pull through 2, and we will maintain changing colors in this manner after every 2 stitches. The row number 67 together, and you will work in the similar fashion row number 68, 69 and 70, and I meet you back for the row number 71. Welcome back for row number 71. So the row number 71 we will work a different color on forward pass and different color on the return pass. So what we can do is we can cut color C, because we will be joining this at the end of return pass. So we can just put it on the side, for this not to get in the way. As usual, we will start our row with an increase. Row number 71 has got 2 increases, and we always work them together with Tunisian knit stitch. So we work Tunisian knit stitch, then increase, Tunisian knit stitch, and then increase. And now we're going to work we're going to alternate Tunisian simple and Tunisian slanted stitch. So we start with Tunisian simple and Tunisian slanted, simple and slanted. So as you can see, once we start working this stitch pattern, the first row looks quite different than the row in the previous color work. So in the previous color work, we matched up the colors, so the inverted V was always in the same color. Now we are changing it up a little bit, and we are taking 1 stitch from color B and 1 stitch from color C. Okay, so we are continuing with Tunisian simple, Tunisian slanted, simple, slanted, and we repeat this all the way across the row to the last 2 stitches. Then we will work Tunisian simple followed by the edge. Now we are coming to the very end of the row. We've got last 2 stitches left to work Tunisian simple stitch, the next stitch followed by the end stitch. And now we are going to add our color C, and we will work the whole return pass in color C and the following forward pass as well. So we work the return pass of row number 71. So again, I prepare my loop, I slide the loop on the hook, and then according to the instructions, the loop would be your yarn over, and you pull through 2. Okay, as before, what I like to do, I like to wrap the long tail around the other 2 strands of yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so this was row number 71. For row number 72, you will work the forward pass in color C, and then at the end of the forward pass, you will change back to color B, work the return pass of row number 72 in B, and forward pass of row number 73 in B. Then you change at the end of the forward pass of row number 73 to C, work your return pass, and then row number 74 will be also in C, and row number 74 will be the repetition of row number 30. So this is the row that we work Tunisian simple stitch across, and that will be it for week number 3. And in the following week, week number 4, we will tackle cable in color C and followed by color work, so that we will be alternating color C with color A. But that's for next week. I hope you enjoyed this week section, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in week number 4.